2025. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I very much appreciate your viewership and support. Now, we do have AEW's All in Texas pay-per-view event coming up in just over a week. We opened up the show with the number one contender for the world title, Hangman Adam Page. He said he will keep his promise of freeing the world championship. He will fight with his life. He knows the Death Riders are coming, and thus he wanted all of them. Anything goes. He officially challenged Jon Moxley to a Texas death match. Moxley and Marina Shafir came down to the ring. Moxley cut a promo of his own. He said that Page is going to lose because Page doesn't want to win. There's just too much pressure. Moxley said he lives for the pressure. He told Page is not going to be able to walk away at All In. Page slapped Moxley. They got into a brawl, and then we had the Death Riders coming out there. You had Page trying to fight them off. Marina Shafir slapped him repeatedly, and he was going to take her out, but then Claudio showed up, laid out Page with the neutralizer, and then the Death Riders left, but then Page got back up, asked if that's all they got. Claudio was going to come back and continue the fight, but then
that deck that you just got, have you played with
we had the Ops, Samoa Joe, Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs showing up, and they held off the Death Riders. Marina Shafir attempted a sneak attack with the briefcase, but that backfired. Page then was able to get the briefcase. He did give it back to Marina, but only when Jon Moxley agreed to the stipulation, the Texas death match. It was made official, but then Page had to make sure that Moxley was reminded of what Page is capable of, and he did take out Marina Shafir with the buckshot lariat. Shout out to Jason M, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Jason says, one of the best openings in Dynamite history. Well, that's a bold opinion. I don't know if I would go that far, but I do think it was a very good opening to the show. You built up some heat for the match. You add the stipulation, and I'm fine with the stipulation because it's the main event of AEW's biggest show of the year, and we all know the drill by this point. The outside interference and everything.
Click on that.
We know with Jon Moxley in the match, and Page for that matter, you know there's going to be blood and violence. You might as well just make it a Texas death match. No DQ. You know there's going to be chaos. I'm all for it. I did think it was a strong opening to the show. Thank you again, Jason. I appreciate it. Now, Ian says Moxley is not losing a death match. Well, see, I think the opposite. I don't think Page is losing a Texas death match.
So
in Texas. I very much believe that Page will leave All In with the championship. I mean, I would be surprised if Moxley won the main event of All In, because this is AEW's biggest show of the year. It's going to be their biggest crowd of the year. And I think that you need to pull the trigger on the big moment. And the Death Riders, as Colin Andrew would say, once and for all, and give the fans a happy ending to this storyline, and put the title on Page. Yeah, Darby Allin would be nice and all, and he's back from Mount Everest, but I really think you have to go with Page to win the championship. I don't think they should drag this out any further. We had our first match of the evening, which was Mercedes Moné versus Mina Shirakawa, with Toni Storm out there on commentary. Pretty good match here with these two. My only issue, and really the main issue I had with the show, was that these matches did feel very predictable. Obviously, Mercedes is not losing before All
You beat
In.
the game already.
Just
haven't you, on
saying.
there?
But it was a good match.
You have that game.
Mercedes had the early advantage, and then Mina hit a tornado DDT on the floor.
So,
But then Mercedes came off the apron with the Meteora. They both barely managed to beat the 10 count. Everybody beats the 10 count. Marina took down Mercedes with the sling blade from the top, but Mercedes kicked out, and then Mina hit the glamour driver. Mercedes kicked out again, running knee strike from Mina, but Mercedes kicked out at 1.
That's Fletchling.
And then Mercedes regained the upper hand and got the win with the inside cradle, squeaking by with a win over Mina.
So I'm gonna need a moment here.
I know people are saying she's overrated and she wins, but I mean, she's not losing here before All In. That would be a terrible booking decision. And I don't think she's overrated. I think her track record of matches speaks for itself. I think she's really been the best thing for AEW's women's division. Again, people hate on her, but I think she has earned her spot. Now, after the match was over, Mercedes took a shot at Mina, fled the scene, and then Tony Storm checked in on Mina. Kind of a stupid babyface moment, turning her back to Mercedes, and Mercedes came back in the ring and hit her with the championship. So yeah, I like Mercedes getting some heat before the show, but yeah, I think Tony looked like an idiot turning her back to Mercedes like that.
None of these are Dex ones.
Next segment we had was the Young Bucks outside the arena, and Tony Khan bought them a limousine that had a bunch of sneakers inside, and they took a tour of their hometown of Rancho Cucamonga, California, which is right next to Ontario, California, just down the road. And they went by their home school, their childhood home. You know, it was funny for what it was. And then we had our four-way match, which was to determine the second spot in the AEW Casino Battle Royale match coming up, the men's one. MJF versus AR Fox versus Anthony Bowens versus Brody King. And you had the Hurt Syndicate out there. They were hiding behind the announce desk, and Brody went after Fox and Bowens for a while. MJF got involved, but then he got beat up. Fox and Bowens, they were working as a team together for a while. MJF brought a chair into the ring. He was feeling desperate. He got the chair punched into his face by Brody. Brody did a cannonball to all three men in the corner, and then everybody took turns hitting each other with cutters. Brody delivered the Gonzo bomb to Bowens. Fox broke it up, and then MJF took advantage and put Fox in the Assault of the Earth submission, and he got the victory to officially get the second spot in the casino match. I think MJF has to win this, right? Especially if Paige is winning the title. That's going to be the real clue as to who's winning the world title match. Whoever wins that Casino Battle Royal or Gauntlet match. I think it's actually Gauntlet match, not a Battle Royal. Whoever wins the Gauntlet match,
so if you look on those two,
that person will likely be the next challenger for the title. Maybe Darby Allin returns in that, and if he wins that, then yeah, John Moxley might be retaining. But I did enjoy the match. I did like it. MJF wins. And I really think he should win the whole thing, especially if Paige is, in fact, going to win the title. Now, after the match was over, we had Mark Briscoe coming out there. He's got the MJF has a tiny pickle t-shirt, and he said that the bitch comment that MJF made about him last week, that is going to ensure a beatdown at All In. They're going to be the first two in the match at AEW All In, the the Casino Gauntlet match. And then he wanted to have a little talk with MJF next week in the ring with no Hurt Syndicate, just the two of them in the ring. So that is going on for next week. We're going to have a little verbal confrontation between MJF and Mark Briscoe.
Belly bolt is Bombardier.
Then we had Jet Speed running out. Jet Speed came out there. They got beat up by the Hurt Syndicate. Hurt Syndicate left. Jet Speed got on the mic. They wanted more. So Hurt Syndicate went back in the ring, beat him up again. Then Jet Speed, I should say, wanted another match. So Hurt Syndicate came in there a third time, beat them up a third time. And then after that was over, Jet Speed, they still wanted more. And they talked about Shelton's mom, how Mama must have not taught him how to fight because he fights like a bitch. And then Kevin Knight challenged Shelton Benjamin to a match on Collision. This is an interesting way of building up a tag team title match. I guess these guys just won't stay down. They get beat up. But because they keep getting to their feet, I guess that's gonna make them worthy challengers. I mean, maybe Kevin Knight gets the win over Shelton Benjamin, and that will officially put them in line for a tag team title match. It's interesting. It's an interesting way to try and build up a tag team. We'll see if it works out. I mean, they're definitely being portrayed as major underdogs in this, but that's pretty much every team that's going up against the Hurt Syndicate at this point. I mean, there's really not that many teams, but preferably I'd like to see a team that you think could actually beat up the Hurt Syndicate, and I don't know if there's any such team that exists right now. We had the Young Bucks coming out for their six-man tag team match. They got a big reaction in Ontario, California. Big crowd, by the way, for episode 300 of Dynamite. They drew a very good-sized crowd. I mean, it looked like it was mostly full, including the hard cam side for AEW. So good showing for them. We'll see if they can continue to build up the momentum. Tony Khan put up a graphic showing the slight increase in viewership for AEW. Seems like they do have a little bit of momentum. They're right at about 20K for all in, and maybe with some last minute sales they'll get to 25,000, and it'll look decent on television. I mean, they're doing a big number by their standards, and Live Event Gate looks to be one of their biggest ones. So, good for AEW. They do seem to be doing better than they were a year ago. Shout out to Teaching in Color X, who sent in a $2 super chat. Says, y'all in? I am kind of. How's the build-up so far? SFE. I think the build-up has been solid for All In. I think the key matches have potential to be all-time classics. I wouldn't say it's the best, but so far it's been pretty good. Shout out to the Cleaver Colin Andrew, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Colin. Says, Becky Lynch and Baron Corbin was better than Paige and Marina Shafir. Well, I don't even remember anything with Becky Lynch and Baron Corbin at this point. I try to block out anything with Baron Corbin in the Vince McMahon era of WWE.
Is that much?
Yeah, I think you were talking about Marina Shafir. You put Maria, but yeah, I don't even remember that segment with Baron Corbin. Like anything Baron Corbin 2019, blocked from my memory. All right, next up we had the six-man match with the Bucks teaming up with Takeshita against Paragon, which was Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, going up against, or the Bucks and Takeshita going up against Paragon and Bandito. That was the 6-man match. It was mostly Takeshita and Bandito in there, since they're going to be fighting for the Ring of Honor title. I really don't care about that title. I'm done with the Ring of Honor at this point. But yeah, Bandito's the champion, and Takeshita is going to challenge him for the title. They triple teamed Bandito, but Paragon broke it up, and then the Bucks and Bandito, or not the Bucks and Bandito, the Bucks and Takeshita regained the upper hand, hit the BTE trigger on Bandito, or not Bandito, on Kyle O'Reilly. The Bucks hit the BT trigger on Kyle O'Reilly, and then Takeshita pinned Kyle with the Raging Fire. Too many guys in the match, it gets confusing. But yeah, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. No real surprise here. I mean, I figured the Bucks were not losing before All In, and Takeshita's not losing before All In. So yeah, it was a good match. Entertaining. And I figured Kyle would take the fall. Actually, I thought maybe Roderick Strong would take the fall because he seems to be the lowest on the totem pole at this point. Man, he actually had a little bit of momentum a few years ago in that MJF storyline, and now he just feels like an afterthought.
It's like legendary status.
We had Swerve and Ospreay coming out after the match. They went after the Young Bucks. Young Bucks, of course, fled. And then you had Swerve getting on the microphone, once again saying how they want the EVP positions on the line at All In, and they want to give the power back to Tony Khan. But the Young Bucks, they said no. Ospreay wondered if they were the Young Bucks or the Young something else that rhymes with Bucks. The Bucks said they're not doing the match because they don't get anything in return. But then Ospreay proposed that if they lose, if Swerve and Ospreay lose, they will not get a world title match in 1 full year. The Bucks said they would agree if Swerve was fine with it. Swerve was not happy. This to try and win it for the sake of AEW. So yeah, I thought it was a good segment here. I like the stipulation because it's something better than the team of Ospreay and Swerve like putting their careers on the line or something like that. I think this is a good stipulation. Like it's something important to them, and adds a little bit more intrigue to the match. The EVP titles going up against potential world title matches for a year. I think it's a good stipulation. I like it. Shout out again to the Cleaver, Colin Andrew, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Cleaver. I appreciate it. Cleaver says, props for still doing the AEW TV recaps. Well, I still enjoy AEW. I know people soured on it, and if you look in the chat room for this, there are more people critical of the show than commenting on how they liked it. I still like AEW. I think that they've shown a bit of improvement over the year as far as the weekly TV goes. I've always enjoyed the pay-per-views. I think my big issue, if I had one main criticism of this show and just AEW weekly TV in general, I just think the matches are too predictable. I mean, they're always really good, but every match you can pretty much figure out who's winning. Like if it's somebody who's on the pay-per-view against somebody who's not on the pay-per-view, you know the guy on the pay-per-view is winning the match. And I mean, it's logical booking, but it's also very predictable.
The Bible says.
We had a tag team match. We had Swerve and Ospreay, who were still out there, going up against the Beast Mortos, Mr. Sasha Banks, and Dralistico. It was a good match, pretty Pretty basic, though, by Dynamite standards. You know, the bad guys got the upper hand for a while, and then Ospreay and Swerve got back into it, and it was kind of like can they coexist type of deal. But I mean, these guys are on pretty good terms, it seems. It's not like it's Page and Swerve. So yeah, Styles clash to Trilistico, and then the house call. No surprise here. Swerve and Ospreay pick up the win. They build up some momentum heading into the All-In pay-per-view match. And then we had our main event of the evening, Okada versus Kota Ibushi, which it was a good match. I don't really care about it because I never followed these guys in Japan, so I'm not that invested in their story. But I did like the match. It was hard-hitting, competitive between these two. But again, same problem. You know Okada is not losing before the pay-per-view. So it's just like, I can't buy into any of the near falls. Like there was one point where Ibushi did this really cool avalanche tiger driver, and the crowd is oohing and awing. They think it's the end of the match, but I know it's not the end. I know there's zero chance that Okada is losing here. So it kind of just takes me out of it. And again, that's my main issue with the show, that I can't get into some of these near falls and big moments because I just cannot believe for a second that Ibushi is beating Okada. Same thing with Mina and Mercedes. They're basically just enhancement matches, but you're actually trying to make the loser look good. And then that's been their formula for a while. Okada, of course, did recover from that, hit him with the drop kick, and then finished him off with the Rainmaker. Okada wins. Again, no surprise. After the match was over, the Don Callis family hit the ring, and then Kenny Omega showed up a couple weeks after that beatdown where he was bleeding internally. He came out there with the chair. Trent tried to get involved. He was the sacrificial lamb. He got taken out by Omega and Ibushi with the double team move, and it was a solid ending to the show. Omega comes back. Overall, I thought it was a very good Dynamite. I thought the wrestling was really good on the show. Like I said, the one issue, the predictability of it, but they did add the stipulations for the two big matches. The world title match has the Texas Deathmatch stipulation, and the tag match has the EVP titles versus Swerve and Ospreay getting a future world title match over the next year. And it was a hot crowd. Like I said, one of the bigger Dynamite crowds in a while. They were hot. That helped out the show. It was a fun watch. Enjoyable watch. I give it 7 out of 10. Pretty good show overall. And I think All In is shaping up to be one of AEW's best shows. I mean, say what you will about Mercedes. I think her and Toni Storm will have one of the best women's matches in the history of the company. The tag match could be one of the best tag matches in the history of the company. The Texas Death Match, it's going to be a spectacle. On paper, I think this looks to be one of their strongest Dynamites. I really do. Or pay-per-views, I should say. All In is shaping up to be a great show. And if I was anywhere near Texas, if I was in Texas, I'd go to the show. I'd buy a ticket for it. But they don't do pay-per-views in Detroit. I don't know why, but they haven't. If they do, I'll go there. That's all I got for Dynamite this week. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the recap. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Spread the word. Tell a friend about No DQ. And have a great week, everybody. I got some roundtable videos coming up on the No DQ YouTube channel. Look out for that. Say yes to No DQ, and I will see you all next time.
Ignite the fairways. Fireball. Jiminy Cricket.